Hello and welcome to our video on 10 terrifying 80s abductions that changed America forever. The 1980s were a decade of significant change and cultural evolution in America, but it was also a decade that saw a number of shocking and tragic abductions that have forever changed the country. In this video, we'll take a look at 10 of the most terrifying abductions that happened during the 1980s and explore how they changed America forever. Number 10. The disappearance of Jacob Wetterling. Jacob Wetterling was a cheerful and lively 11-year-old boy from Minnesota who disappeared on October 22, 1989, while riding his bike home from a convenience store with his brother and a friend. His parents, Patty and Jerry Wetterling, searched tirelessly for him, but Jacob's disappearance remained a mystery for 27 years. In 2016, a breakthrough in the case occurred when Jacob's remains were discovered. The killer, Danny Heinrich, confessed to abducting, molesting, and murdering Jacob. The details of Jacob's abduction and murder were horrifying and shook the community to its core. Jacob's abduction and murder led to the creation of the Jacob Wetterling Resource Center, which provides resources and support for families of missing children. Jacob's parents, Patty and Jerry, have also become advocates for child safety and victims' rights, working tirelessly to ensure that no other family has to experience the pain and suffering they endured. The tragic story of Jacob Wetterling highlights the importance of ongoing efforts to improve child safety and prevent abductions. While we cannot change the past, we can honor Jacob's memory by supporting the organizations and initiatives that work to keep children safe and hold abusers accountable for their actions. Number 9. The Chowchilla School Bus Kidnapping. A group of 26 kids and their bus driver were on their way home from summer school on July 15, 1976, when 3 men abducted them. They were in Chowchilla, California. The abductors forced them into vans and drove them to a remote quarry, where they were imprisoned in a trailer buried underground. Despite the appalling conditions and the fear that they would never be found, the children and the bus driver did not give up hope. They managed to escape after 16 hours of confinement by using a piece of wire to break open the trailer's roof and digging their way out of the quarry. The Chowchilla school bus kidnapping brought national attention to the issue of school safety and the vulnerability of children to abduction and violence. The case also highlighted the strength and resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable adversity. The survivors of the Chowchilla school bus kidnapping have continued to inspire others with their courage and determination. Many have become advocates for child safety and victims' rights, sharing their stories to prevent similar incidents from happening in the future. Their actions serve as a reminder that even in the darkest moments, hope and resilience can prevail. Number 8. Jennifer Levin. Robert Chambers, Jennifer Levin's ex-boyfriend, murdered her in Central Park in 1986. She was a young woman from New York City. The case shocked the nation and brought national attention to the issue of domestic violence. Jennifer was a bright and ambitious young woman who had everything to look forward to in life. Her tragic death at the hands of her ex-boyfriend was a heartbreaking reminder of the dangers of abusive relationships and the importance of recognizing the warning signs of domestic violence. The case also highlighted the role that bystander intervention can play in preventing domestic violence. The loss of Jennifer had a significant impact on her friends and family, and many of them have since become activists for domestic violence prevention and victims' rights. Jennifer's legacy lives on through the efforts of those who work to prevent domestic violence and support victims. Her story serves as a powerful reminder that domestic violence is not just a private matter but a public health issue that affects individuals, families, and communities. Number 7. Colleen Stan. When Colleen Stan was a young woman, Cameron and Janice Hooker kidnapped her while she was hitchhiking to a friend's birthday party in California in 1977. Colleen was held captive in a small wooden box for 7 years and was subjected to extreme physical and psychological abuse. The Hookers told Colleen that they were members of a religious cult and that she was their slave. They forced her to sign a slave contract, which they used to control every aspect of her life. Colleen was also subjected to horrific acts of sexual violence, including being forced to wear a headbox and being suspended from the ceiling. After 7 years of captivity, Colleen was finally able to escape and go to the police. Her testimony led to the conviction of Cameron Hooker, who was sentenced to 104 years in prison for kidnapping and sexual assault. Colleen's story highlights the long-term trauma that survivors of abduction and abuse can experience. She has become an advocate for survivors of sexual violence, sharing her story to raise awareness and promote healing. Her courage and resilience in the face of unimaginable suffering serve as an inspiration to others who have experienced similar traumas. Number 6. Elizabeth Smart. Brian David Mitchell, a self-described prophet who had previously worked as a handyman for the Smart family, kidnapped 14-year-old Elizabeth Smart from her bedroom in 2002. She was from Salt Lake City, Utah. Elizabeth suffered physical and emotional abuse, including rape and forced starvation, from Mitchell and his wife, Wanda Barzee, for a period of 9 months. Despite numerous searches and tips, Elizabeth remained missing until she was recognized by passers-by while out in public with Mitchell and Barzee. She was rescued and reunited with her family in 2003. Elizabeth's courage and resilience in the face of unimaginable trauma inspired people around the world. She has become a prominent advocate for victims of abuse and exploitation and has worked to raise awareness about the importance of education and prevention efforts. Elizabeth's case also highlighted the need for improved communication and collaboration between law enforcement agencies, as well as the importance of community involvement in solving cases of missing and exploited children. Through her advocacy and activism, Elizabeth has become a symbol of hope and healing for victims of abuse and exploitation and a reminder of the strength of the human spirit in overcoming adversity. Number 5. Mary Vincent. When Lawrence Singleton, a convicted murderer and rapist, picked up Mary Vincent, a 15-year-old girl who was hitchhiking to visit her grandfather in California, she was in danger. Singleton brutally attacked Mary, raping her and then cutting off her arms with a hatchet and leaving her for dead. Despite suffering terrible wounds, Mary was able to climb a 30-foot embankment to the road where a bystander found her. She was rushed to the hospital and underwent multiple surgeries, but doctors were unable to save her arms. Singleton was later apprehended and sentenced to 14 years in prison for the attack on Mary Vincent. After serving only 8 years, he was released and moved to Florida, where he was later convicted of murdering a woman. Mary's story is one of incredible courage and resilience in the face of unimaginable trauma. Despite the physical and emotional scars she carries, she has become an advocate for victims of violent crime, sharing her story to raise awareness and promote healing. Mary's story also highlights the importance of recognizing the warning signs of violent and predatory behavior and taking action to prevent such crimes from happening in the first place. Her bravery and determination serve as an inspiration to survivors of violent crime and a reminder that even in the darkest of moments, hope and strength can prevail. Number 4. Kevin Collins. Kevin Collins was a 10-year-old boy from San Francisco, California, who disappeared in 1984 while walking home from school. His disappearance sparked a massive search effort and captured national attention. Despite numerous leads and investigations, Kevin's case remained unsolved for over 30 years. It wasn't until 2019 that a suspect, a man named John Arthur Getrew, was identified and charged with Kevin's murder. Getrew had a history of violent sexual offenses and was already serving a life sentence for another murder at the time of his arrest. The long-awaited resolution of Kevin's case brought some closure to his family and the community, but it also highlighted the need for continued efforts to solve other cold cases and bring justice to victims and their families. The legacy of Kevin Collins lives on through the tireless work of advocates and organizations dedicated to preventing child abduction and exploitation, as well as the ongoing efforts of law enforcement to solve other cold cases and bring closure to families. His tragic death also serves as a reminder of the importance of supporting and protecting children in our communities and the need for all of us to remain vigilant and aware of the dangers that can lurk in our midst. Number 3. Johnny Gosch. Johnny Gosch was a 12-year-old paperboy from Des Moines, Iowa, who disappeared while on his route in 1982. Witnesses reported seeing Johnny talking to a man in a car, but the man was never identified. Johnny's mother, Noreen Gosch, became a vocal advocate for missing children and tirelessly searched for her son. In 1997, she received a mysterious visit from a man who claimed to be Johnny, but he quickly disappeared before she could verify his identity. There have been numerous theories and alleged sightings of Johnny over the years, but his case remains unsolved. Some people think that a child trafficking ring kidnapped him, while others think it was a government plot. Despite the lack of answers, Johnny's case has brought attention to the issue of child abductions and led to changes in laws and law enforcement procedures to help prevent such crimes from happening in the future. Johnny's disappearance also highlights the importance of community involvement in missing persons cases and the need for ongoing support for families of missing children. His mother's unwavering determination to find him serves as an inspiration to others and a reminder that the fight for justice and truth never ends. Number 2. Adam Walsh. Adam Walsh was a 6-year-old boy who was abducted from a shopping mall in Hollywood, Florida, in 1981. His body was discovered 2 weeks later, and his killer was never identified. Adam's abduction and murder led to the creation of the Adam Walsh Child Resource Center, which provides resources and support for families of missing children. Adam's father, John Walsh, has also become a prominent advocate for victims' rights, working tirelessly to ensure that no other family has to experience the pain and suffering his family endured. The case also led to the creation of the Missing and Exploited Children's Program, which provides law enforcement agencies with the resources and training they need to investigate cases of missing and exploited children. Adam's story touched the hearts of people around the world and brought attention to the issue of child safety. His legacy lives on through the work of the organizations and individuals who continue to fight for the safety and well-being of children. The tragedy of Adam Walsh's abduction and murder serves as a powerful reminder that we must all work together to protect our children and ensure that justice is served for victims of violent crimes. Number 1. Etan Patz. Etan Patz was a 6-year-old boy from New York City who disappeared in 1979 while walking to his school bus stop alone for the first time. His case was one of the first missing child cases to receive national attention and sparked a massive search effort. Despite extensive investigations and numerous leads, Etan's case remained unsolved for decades. It wasn't until 2012 that a man named Pedro Hernandez was arrested and charged with his murder. Hernandez had confessed to the crime and led police to the location where he had buried Etan's remains. The resolution of Etan's case after so many years brought a sense of closure to his family and the community, but it also raised questions about how such a heinous crime could go unsolved for so long. Etan's disappearance and murder led to significant changes in the way missing child cases are handled, including the establishment of National Missing Children's Day and the implementation of the Code Adam program, which provides guidelines for responding to missing child incidents in retail environments. A string of shocking and tragic kidnappings that occurred in the 1980s left an indelible mark on America. These cases brought national attention to the issue of child safety and the ways in which abusers can manipulate and control their victims. They also led to the creation of important laws and resources designed to help prevent abductions and support the families of missing children. While these abductions were terrifying and tragic, their legacies continue to make a difference in the lives of children and families across the country. Thank you for watching this video. We hope you found it enjoyable. If you haven't already, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on future content. And if you have any thoughts or questions about what you just watched, Please leave a comment below. We love hearing from our viewers and appreciate your feedback. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.